Hey folks, it's Jim Garrow from the Face of the Matter blog. Now, I want to talk a little bit about H7N9. A lot of us in public health have been keeping an eye on what's going on in China just because we're worried about this new flu, this H7N9. We're worried it might turn into a pandemic. One of the few things that we know about the disease is that people tend to get it from birds like pigeons and ducks. So one of our recommendations is for folks to stay away from those kind of birds, like you can see in the first two links below. Now that's pretty easy here in the US and Europe. We're just not around that many fowl. But in China, it's totally different. Most people there get their meats from wet markets, where the birds are slaughtered as soon as they're purchased. It's almost impossible to not be around these birds. Now, these recommendations obviously conflict with real life and are causing some big problems. The Chinese poultry industry is suffering big time from the lack of business and from having to cull their birds. So what can a risk communicator do in this situation? I mean, do we focus on risk communication messages versus messages about protecting one's family and making sure you can put food on the table? Do we focus on life-saving messages versus industry-saving messages? It's a big conflict, and a lot of folks wonder what to do. After a pandemic, I think it makes total sense. You go with the risk communication messages. But right now, when it's just as likely to not go pandemic as it is to, I think this highlights a real problem we have in health risk communication. A lot of times we have competing interests. There's our risk communication interests, there's our health interests, but there's also vested interests that have to do with money and the industry. And it's really tough for us to find a balance between those two, especially in situations like this that are high hazard and potentially have a real great impact on the world. So I ask you, what should we do? So that wraps up our video for this month. Be sure to comment below. I'd love to hear what you think about H7N9 and what our messaging should be. And be sure to keep an eye on this space for more videos in the future. Thanks again.